What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another OSCP preparation video, but this is a bit different. It's and beyond OSCP because we're going to be doing a bit of blue teaming at the end, just looking at the log files generated in security again. If you have watched the previous video, I built a lab to do that so that we can see how much noise we make and what not to do when we're doing a box. But it's not as realistic as an actual test because we're actually hacking into a machine. Red teamers usually fish or something like that, but yeah, we'll try our best. Without any further ado, let's get into DC-9. I found this box in homelab, by the way. It's not by Howard from IT Security Labs, just switching it up a bit, but nonetheless, let's go. I do not happen to have a scan enabled, saved for this machine, which I usually do. What do I want to do? Nmap initial, is that it? Nope. There we go. And it's just gonna have two ports, that is port 22 and port 80, which is somewhat like hack the box. As you can see here, I was trying to download Sublime, but whatever. And this is the machine. It says example.com staff details, and this is the home page probably. Welcome to example.com staff details page. Please select an option from the menu. So this will display all records, and we can see this name, a position, phone number, and an email. So the first ID would be Mary Mo, and CEO is the position, and this is the email format. This is actually quite important in case we have to do a brute force, right? We save out the emails if they did have an email server or something like that, which they probably do have a login page somewhere. So if you can save those out, just maybe the emails, the whole email, or just the name, and we can try to brute force that with login page, email server, SSH, something. So keep that in mind. And then so there's a bunch of positions and names, but if we scroll down to the bottom, we can see I added myself as a hacker from previous testing, but that doesn't matter. What I want you to take note of is the naming conventions for all these people, right? There's a name, right? Monica Gilla, I think that's how you pronounce it. And then the email is gonna be Monica G. So it's first name and then the first letter of the last name, right? Phoebe Buffet, Phoebe B. But when we get to the name, this name Donald, right? The email is just janitor, which is pretty weird. It gives off some sort of sus vibe. And then there's Scott as well, and that's janitor too. Why wasn't the first name and the first letter of the last name used, right? Keep that in mind. Just CTF type of things you have to look out for. And then let's move on to the search. You could try search for names. That did not work because I did not type it correctly. Nope. I hate this keyboard, but it's mine. There you go. You actually find the name. If you search for something that is not there, it is there now because I added it, but if you search for something that isn't there, you get 0 results. We could try some injection script. If I can type, what do you want to do? Alert 1. Open that, close script. Try that and see if we can get XSS, but we don't get XSS. So that's probably a dead end, or maybe this payload didn't work. Yeah, nah, we don't get anything from that, but now we have a login page. And once we have a login page, the first thing I personally want to do is look at it via burp suite, right? Admin, that didn't work. So we shall switch on our burp suite, intercept is on, and try again and see what is happening behind the scenes, right? Username and password, and we can just send this to the repeater. make this bigger and try to see if we can get a different output, right? So this is just the basic login failed, right? Still has the login, whatnot. Your login name or password is invalid. And as you can see, the bytes is 1550, right? 1550 bytes. So keep that in mind. If that changes, something happened. So we shall try some SQL payloads. Nope, still the same, 1550. Maybe one quote. Nope, that didn't work. Try the second parameter, double quote. That didn't change anything. And if you look here, it still says your login and password is invalid. Single quote, that did not change anything. And you can try some other stuff. Now at this point, you just be trying random stuff because you might be stuck, right? But then you remember that you probably didn't try everything. But you didn't try everything. It's the fact that you didn't try SQL on this page, and Burp Suite is still on. So I'm gonna just turn that off. You did not try SQL on this page. So if we try a double quote, it's gonna give us nope, nothing, and nothing still. So you might be like, oh, this is, you know, it's done. There's nothing to it, but there's more to this than you may think. If we turn back Burp Suite back on, right, and we give it the parameter Donald, there's a neat little trick I learned while going through this box. I initially did not know it, but you learn things as you go, you know what I mean? And this was our Nmap scan, the 2 ports that are open. You learn things as you go. There's a neat little trick. Let's save this in Sublime and call this capture, right? You save the request, the whole request. Just hit it up in Burp Suite or something, copy and paste it into a text file, and then shoot it up. And we're gonna send it to SQL map, right? And I think that's the syntax, tag R. And boom, it paste that in. I'm not a robot. Crack hashes, and we got a password. Transorbital. I have no idea how to pronounce that word. I have no idea what it means, but yeah, it's there. And so we have an admin and a password that we have successfully cracked, and which we can log in now. Don't save, and it says we are logged in as admin. So it says file does not exist, but we don't seem to have selected any sort of file. It's not showing up in the URL, but we can check in the backend though. We can definitely do that. We can check this in the backend. Like I said, turn this on, off, and on again, and repeat the process. Yes. And it still says file does not exist. So maybe there's a parameter file that we need to select, which we can try. We can select a random file, and in this case we could do directory traversal or local file inclusion and hope it works. We can send this to repeater, Control R, Control Shift R. Control R to send, Control Shift R to follow it. And as you can see, a file does not exist still. So that did not work, but that is not the end of the world. We can copy this, let's actually cut it out and put it in the URL. This usually works. And if we send that, apparently we are able to read. So we have local file inclusion, and we can read. There's a lot of users on this thing, as you can see. All these people have bash terminals, or what's it called? They can have sessions, right, on this machine. Janitor 2, Janitor, Scoots, Phoebe, VBB, VBib, Monica G, Ross G, all these people, right? So a lot of enumeration we have to go through. And if we go back to before we rush into things, right, and be like, oh yay, we have local file exclusion, we can go back to the fact that we have a whole list of usernames and password we haven't tried using. So we could try to use that on the website or on the SSH port. And I'm just gonna tell you now, we shall use it on the SSH port. So if we go back, where's the table? Here it is. There's 17 users, 17 passwords to go through. Crazy, innit? Yeah. And the usernames. So we're going to be using the usernames, which we can't just copy. Oh my goodness. You need to sort this nice. But let's do that. For the sake of the video, let's do that. What we need first are the usernames. Can we use both with Hydra? Let's see. Whatever. What we need first are the users, which I already have apparently. So just save out the users, right? And then this is that capture, we can close that. And then we can also make the password file, which is what we need. Right, passwords. Are these the passwords? Nah, that's not it. This is it. So just to clean this up a bit, it's gonna take a while, so I'm gonna just speed it up. Okay, so I'm finally done sorting out this password file manually, which is a bad thing. I've seen IPsec sort out a password file in like a good 2 seconds using Vim, so yeah, you should aspire to learn and have such skills. But now that we have both files, we can use Hydra, capital O, users, capital P, passwords, and SSH. This is the syntax I use, do not judge me. But once we run this, we should get 1 password at least, or maybe 2, who knows. So we've run our Hydra and we have a couple of users that we found: Chandler, Joey T, and Janitor, right? And they have really strange passwords, but they work for SSH. So what we can do now is just select a random user and log in to their thing. Right, I'll choose Janitor and see if we can get in that way. Enter his password, and as you can see, I am Janitor. So I will just clear my screen, which I shouldn't have done because now I don't have the other passwords, but it's okay. I'm so dumb. Forgive me. I should use Control O more often, right? Right. There's nothing here. There's the secrets for Putin. It is a directory, so let's cd into secrets for Putin. Then it says passwords found on post.tip. There are other passwords, probably for SSH as well. So we could add these to our passwords file, and let's put them at the top so that we don't waste time. What did I just do? Yeah, let's put them at the top. Save that, and then what we want to do now is, let me make a terminal here. Nope. Passwords, SSH, 10.0, 2.9. There we go. Now we're gonna run the same usernames with a few more passwords and see if something actually does come back. We have Fred F, While that's running, we can try enumerate this machine for the user, janitor. What is general? What is this password? I forgot. I love PP, I think. Nah, that was not the password. Let's just wait, I guess. But we have another user, Fred F, that we have found. I think that's the only one that we don't have so far. We didn't have previously. Rather, what? Gender, password. You know what? I'm gonna just copy it from here. There it is. Sudo doc.l. And that's not. Did I change the password by mistake? I don't think so. Why is it not working? Maybe it's because there's a space here. Nope, there's no space. Okay, yeah, that's the password. It says, sorry, janitor may not run sudo on DC-9. He can't run sudo on DC-9. So we shall exit and try this user, right? Considering we found his password inside the machine, it could be juicy. So SSH Fred F at 10 0.2.9, copy in his password. Yes sir, we are in. We are Fred F. I hope you can see, actually. I do hope you can see. ls tag la. There's nothing here. We can try the sudo tag-l, which is the first thing you should always, and he doesn't even need a password because he can run this test file, right? Right. Since he can do something, this is obviously the exploitation path that we need to follow. Sudo opt what, and it is a Python file. Python test read append.py. So it's an opt dev stuff, which is probably development stuff, and this test thing is in the distribution folder, so we should check that out. Obviously, cd into dev stuff, ls, and there's this test.py. So let's cat this out. I'm just maximize on this. I'm sorry, I don't need to do that. ls, nope, I need the Python file. And as you can see, this is what this Python file is doing. Import system. If the length of the argument is not equal to 3, we print the usage and exit. Else we're opening whatever file is given as the first argument. We're reading it, and then we output whatever was in the file. And then we open whatever was in this second argument, which is append, and then we are appending. Yeah, we are appending to the file, and what we're doing is appending what was in this first one. So we're reading from the first one, right, and doing nothing, and then whatever was in this first one, we're appending it to this second one, which is pretty neat. Let's go back to home, cd into Fred, ls. What we can do is make a root user. We put his salt and his username into a file, and we have this Python file. Append his details into the etsy passwd, so that we have a root user we can use to log in. So to do that, I'll just Google this since I forgot the syntax. Of course, I'm looking at the syntax right now, and what we need to use is OpenSSL, and I'm not sure if we have it on this machine. Since it hung, I assume we do. So passwd -1 tag salt, and then the username, we'll call him Toddy, and then the password would be Toddy as well. terrible password, terrible username, but this is what we want. But since we have this now, we can put this in the itsy password file, but there's a little more editing we need to do. This is nano added user. Yep, you can use nano, and then we need to make a root user 0. This is kind of difficult to look at, to be honest. I hope I don't mistype anything. 0 0. Nope. Root. Hate this. Can't even copy and paste because it's a picture. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I think this is it. This should be it. This should work. Save that. So now what we want to do is get back that Python thing. So added user. We're gonna read added user and append it to itsy pass wd. Cross all fingers, it works. So if we cat itsy password, we have this. Yeah, nice. Did I have a username on that? Oh, it didn't work because I didn't put a username. This guy is down, you know. This guy is down, but yeah. We need to do this. Toddy. There we go. There we go. Now this should work. Save that again. Run the same file again. Cat this, and now it should work. Yeah, I hope it doesn't clash because of that. But if we exit from this, restore, we should now be able to SSH with the user Toddy 1002 and fingers crossed. Permission denied. Something didn't work. We need to fix this. Something definitely did not work. Okay, so open SSL, pass WD -1 salt Toddy. Let me change the password so that the salt looks different. And then we put a different 2 eyes like that. Then now we have this. Nano added user, delete that, Control K, Toddy, right, paste that, right, 0 0, double colon after this one, root. I think that's what I did wrong. The bin bash, maybe. I don't think I put colon. I don't know. But this is supposed to be it. This should work. I have no idea why it's not working. Maybe it's because we have a / in our salt. So it's escaping. Who knows? Save that. Try it again. Where's this? Double I. 1 2 3 4 5 6. That should work as well. I think it's because of the /. It's the /. Or we could try SU Toddy, paste in that password. Oh, that worked. That worked. So we didn't have to try SSH again. But yeah, we could switch. Let's actually see if the first one had worked as well. SU Toddy. It had worked. Silly me. CD into root ls cat the flag. Nice work. Nice work. This was a cool box. Congratulations, you have done well to get to this point. Hope you have enjoyed DC-9. I've enjoyed DC-9. Learned about. Alright, so since we finished DC-9, now we're gonna look at the network traffic and Security Onion. So I've already imported this into Security Onion. I had Wireshark listening as I was hacking because I didn't want to have this Security Onion and the Analyst VM turned on, switched on while I was hacking because I wanted to reduce the workload on my poor laptop. So I used Wireshark to capture the network traffic, and then now we're gonna just look at it in Security Onion, which is not gonna be a lot because I'm actually still trying to find my way through most of it. Some stuff I have no idea what to look at or what it means, but it's all good. As you can see, we are in the hunt interface, which is not where we're gonna start off. We'll start in alerts. What we just want to look at are a couple of things. So at first glance, there are some with red bells, right? It's a lot of red flags, and this one has 6,000, right? And it says the rule name is scan Tomcat authentication brute force attempt, right? It says admin, and then there's the web server attacker SQLI, which was our SQL map, by the way. That's like 197. And then this one, policy, possible Kali Linux hostname and DHCP packet request packet, which means maybe we might have to change our Kali Linux hostname so it doesn't get caught in an IDS. And then SSH scan outbound. I'm not too sure what that means exactly. But then there's other stuff. Some of it is just me logging into my stuff. And then, hey, this one is interesting. Possible Etsy password via HTTP, Linux style. So it knows these things, right? We read the Etsy password using LFI, and it knows. So it was caught. And IIS admin access. I'm not too sure what that means. So let's just look at some of this stuff before we get caught up in just doing an overview. So we shall drill down and see, right? So this is our Kali Linux host, our source IP, and this was the IP address of DC-9. And this was, I'm not too sure what this was exactly. Let's look at the rule name. This was GoBuster. This was GoBuster. I didn't run GoBuster today, but I did when I was doing a previous test. So if you do run GoBuster or whatever directory brute forcing tool you use, you're probably gonna get caught because of the number of requests and alerts it produces. So you wanna keep that in the back of your mind as a red teamer, right? But we're penetration testing. We might be allowed to make a lot of noise. Doesn't really matter, right? That was GoBuster. We can go back. We need to group by name and module. And we can look at this, drill down. And the rule name web server attacker SQLI, right? So this was our SQL injection, which we did run with the rule name. There's the rule name. This is the rule alert, HTTP servers, and as you can see, our SQLI injection. Bruh, you're gonna get caught if you're doing funny stuff and you don't know what you're doing. This is the message, right? Source IP, that's our Linux host. Source port 507030. It's kind of weird. Oh, source port, that's what it was running from. That's interesting. And then the destination port is port 80. So SQL map runs from port 5730. That is interesting to note. Right. Anything else we can read? Nah. All we know for now is just don't run SQL map or GoBuster, right? And you might need to change your Kali Linux hostname But the one that really caught my eye was this itsy password one, right? Linux style. So it knows that someone read the itsy password file. Someone read it, which is pretty cool. How is this decoded, bro? This doesn't look decoded. It looks funky. But the rule is alert message attack response possible itsy password via HTTP. All right. And I want to see the PCAP so that we can actually cyber chef, and then the PCAP as well. So if we right click on this PCAP, come on, sure, we can actually see the PCAP, and this one seems to have the most data. I want to see the actual contents of itsy password. I have no idea what I'm doing. Here we go. This is us reading the file itsy password. Nah, that doesn't look like it. Magic bake intensive mode maybe. Come on. Recursion error. Too much recursion. Nah, bro. We're just being a dumb analyst right now. A noob analyst. You know what? Whatever. What I wanted to see is if an analyst can actually see if we did read out, if we did get the contents of itsy password. But these are like just the requests. Where did we actually read it, bro? Fishy. It's kind of fishy. It's kind of fishy, you know. This looks like the same thing, to be honest. Maybe if we look at the PCAP, it is the same thing, and we still cannot see the contents of the file. You know what? I'm gonna ask someone about this. I'll send them the PCAP and then have them see if they can tell the contents of itsy password, because that was the most intriguing thing. So I don't know too much about Security Onion yet, but we'll get there. Just a couple of things we learned from all of this. The capture request using SQL map. If you do know how to exploit that manually, please do let me know, because we are preparing for the OSCP and you're not allowed to use SQL map in the OSCP exam. And then the open SSL syntax for making your own salt for the itsy password. And now this, that when you're red teaming, or if you're trying to red team, don't run GoBuster, don't run SQL map, change your host name, and maybe don't read itsy file from the host on the web. Yeah, that's probably what we learned from this machine. But that's it. That is it. Until next time, stay out of trouble. Don't get hacked. Peace.